And what's going on, everybody?
Yo,
What's up, guys?
Hey, welcome to episode number 4 of the Geeking Squad Podcast. Whee!
Yay.
Yay.
Yay!
We need those whizzer things.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's going on, everybody? We are back with episode 4 of the Geeking Squad Podcast. As always, I am your host, Larry Roberts. Down the way from me is none other than
Vito.
And then over here, she's tried and true. She is the super glue. Holds it all together. It is none other than
Megan Guess.
Yep, and not that you have to guess. That's actually her last name.
Oh.
People get that all the time, don't they?
Yeah.
It's like, guess what? I'm not going to guess your name. And you're like, shut the fuck up.
Would you write the fucking name down, please?
Yeah. And we're here for another episode of our variety discussion because we just talk about all different kinds of stuff.
Do what we want.
Yeah, we talk about what I want. Catch me outside with some
How about that?
with some good pop culture references. Yeah, we talk about stuff that you all mostly have posted in our Geeking Squad Facebook group online. We like you guys to go in there and post memes, post news stories, post polls, all kinds of things. We throw in our 2 cents as well.
Yeah, I just want to say, you guys are on fire lately.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys
You
are
guys
blowing
are
up.
killing it. I'm loving it.
Yeah, it's been really good lately. I've seen a lot. We've had a lot more people added to the group.
Yep. Welcome, everybody.
Yep. Yeah. Hopefully you're listening to this. If you're not, what the fuck's the matter with you? What are you doing? What are you doing here?
Half the fun.
Yeah, exactly. You're missing out. And it's just all across the board. We talk about
Everything.
everything, mostly just pop culture stuff, movies, TV, music, comics and toys and weird UFO stuff in history. And that's basically what we're all about because we're 3 geeks, hence the name. But as usual, before we get into any of the topics, I got to ask you guys, how you guys doing?
I'm okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're always
Like,
so enthusiastic, man. It's been a rough week, for some of us. I know,
Right? Seriously, for you two especially. All I get is my hand's doing better now.
Yeah,
I punched my brother over the weekend. He's being a little dick. So.
Oh my gosh, do you hear that, Jason? Oh man, are you gonna take that, dude?
No, he's already promised because I told him to bite me. He's like, everybody heard that. I get a biter. It's a free game.
Oh crap!
So the war is on.
The war has never ended.
It never does. No.
You two, it's still payback for kicking that fucking burger behind the couch.
It seriously is. He'll never forget that ever.
Yeah, and we've talked about it long time ago on Geeking Poetic on one of our videos. But yeah,
I told him stop bugging me, and he kept bugging me. I was like, I'm gonna kick your burger behind the couch, and he didn't stop bugging me, and I kicked the fucking burger behind the couch,
right out of his damn hand.
right out of his damn hands. Don't bug me.
I would love to see it on like a home video that your mom got or something. That would be hilarious.
Speaking of that and things like your mom and old stories and stuff, didn't you post something the other day?
Oh yeah, I posted a Snoopy comic, and what was it? Charlie Brown brought Snoopy his dinner. And he's like, "Oh, here you go. There's a lot of astronauts and stuff, so I made you an astronaut meal and everything in there, including it in there." And he goes, "Oh, there's Tang in my dog food." So when I was a little girl,
yeah. So real quick, yeah.
so real quick,
yeah.
when I was a little girl, I came for breakfast. And my mom goes, "Okay, here's your cereal," and I just started eating it, threw my milk in it, and started eating it and stuff. I was like. And I spit it out, drooled out of my mouth. I was like, what is wrong with this? Yeah, she put fucking Tang in there and didn't bother to tell me. Instead of sugar, she put Tang. And she's like, whatever, she's not going to know. I'm not going to notice fucking Tang. Are you serious?
They're both sweet,
Is
Come
Tang
on.
sweet?
I love Tang. I do love Tang, but it's not sugar.
Isn't it like Kool-Aid pretty much?
Pretty much, yeah.
Kind
But you have to add sugar to Kool-Aid, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't add sugar to
You don't
Tang.
add sugar to Tang.
It's got already like a pre-sweetened thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's still not like a sugar
It's more
substitute.
tart.
I see.
More like an orange juice kind of thing, but not quite. So yeah,
Oh.
it was a very rude awakening, and she will never outlive that.
No.
That just, man, every time I see like a breakfast picture where someone's eating cereal and they have like a glass of orange juice and something else, I'm like, how can you drink orange juice and eat cereal in the same meal like that. Like, that's disgusting.
Yeah, or how about when you even see pictures of people with like that, the fortified breakfast thing like they used to have when we were growing up, and they'd have a glass of orange juice and a glass of milk.
Wait.
And I'm thinking to myself,
why would you ever?
What sick fuck drinks orange juice and milk together? Like, that's disgusting, man. That's so bad. Not to mention, do you ever see when they have those pictures and it's like they'll have like sausage and eggs and maybe like a little thing of like some cereal or some oatmeal and then the 2 drinks and then there's fruit and all this. And I'm like, who the fuck can eat all that for breakfast?
Seriously.
You fat bastard.
You don't need all that.
Exactly. Like, pick one.
Yeah, so my mom tried to mix orange juice and milk all in the same bowl.
Ugh.
And she tried to kill me.
I don't think it would kill you.
She tried to poison me.
I don't think it would poison you either. It's just really gross.
Trying to get me to throw up.
It sure felt like it.
That's as bad as me with the salt.
The salt?
Yeah, you don't know that story?
I don't think so.
Oh my God. Okay, so I was hanging out at Joe Nunez, our old drummer's house. This is back when he was living at home with his parents, this early 90s. And I was hanging out, and I think I crashed out at his place for the weekend, and we might have been going to concerts or something. I don't remember what the deal was, but I got really hungry late one night, and he had like no food in this fucking house. I'm like, how do you live? Where's the food?
Vito?
Yeah, it's my house.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, exactly.
You open his fridge upstairs, there's water. Water and beer. That's it.
Fucking bachelors, right? But anyway, so I was like, is there anything to eat? And he's like, well, let me look. And he found this big, literally it looked like something out of a cartoon. It was a really big black and white box that just said Corn Flakes on it. And I was like, okay, I could do Corn Flakes. That's fine. I was so hungry. I went out and I dug out this big ass bowl, like a really big bowl, like not a cereal bowl, right? And I poured all this fucking Corn Flakes in there and shit. And Joe was like, yeah, I don't give a fuck. I don't eat it, man. I don't like that shit. So I did. And I grabbed the milk and I poured a bunch of milk in there. And then sitting right in the middle of his table was a little clear glass canister with the little sealed lid thing that you with the little clippy guy and everything, and it was with the sugar in it and everything. And I was like, okay, perfect. So I grabbed that, opened it up. I got a big spoon.
No,
one of these like almost too big for my mouth, kind of, believe it or not, kind of thing. And I scooped in like a bunch, like maybe like a good big 4 heaping scoops of sugar
goodness.
in there, and. Now Joe's sitting across from me.
Just letting you do this
the whole time, and he claims it didn't register to him. I take a big old bite of this Corn Flakes cereal, and I just like chewing it, and it was in my mouth for maybe about 3 to 5 seconds, and then it hit me, and I was just like, "Oh God, that's not sugar that I put in there." It turned out it was salt.
Oh.
I put like 4 giant heaping tablespoons of salt into a bowl with milk and Corn Flakes.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. And I ate it, and it already had started going down the back of my throat and everything. And I just sort of opened my mouth and let it like spill out. And Joe looked at me, and it like he realized what I did then at that moment, and he just fell back in his chair laughing. He's like, "You dumb fuck." And I'm like, who the fuck keeps a canister of salt in the middle of their fucking kitchen table? Just a canister of salt. There was no pepper, no sugar, nothing else. Just a canister of salt. I'm like, are you all salt vampires? What the fuck? I'm like, why? I would think it would be like sugar. Like normally you see those kind of things with sugar for people for their cereal or their coffee or their tea. Mm-hmm. No, they had a bunch of fucking salt.
Maybe they had a sodium deficiency in the family.
That's what I'm saying. They're a bunch. They're like from Star Trek. All of a sudden, find out like his ma walks in, she turns into the salt vampire 113. Yeah, from Star Trek and shit. Like, anyway, yeah. That literally, I wasn't a big salt fan to begin with. And after that, like I didn't touch salt for probably, man, a long time, 15 years, 20 years.
Jesus.
Wow.
I mean, I could have food that had some salt in it. I could eat French fries if they came salted, but
you wouldn't do it yourself.
No. Even then, like sometimes if I got like McDonald's fries or something and they were really salty, I would like scrape the salt
I've
off of
done
them
that before.
and
Yeah.
stuff.
You know, some asshole doesn't know what the fuck he's doing.
At McDonald's,
Yeah.
that never happens. I think it's pretty much only assholes that don't know. I'm just kidding. I'm sure some of you McDonald's workers out there just do a fine job. But yeah, some of you don't know what the fuck you're doing. But now I like salt. I put salt in stuff I got over, especially since after my health issues, now I can't have pepper anymore. I can't do black pepper or cayenne pepper. So I think salt is kind of replace that because I can do salt. Although that'll be the next thing is they're going to tell me like your sodium is way up or something. It's like, oh, fuck.
I'm on a salt diet, man. What do you want?
Yeah, fucking A. But anyway, yeah, I think we've been yapping about all this stuff for long enough. People are like, get to the stuff that we posted about. Get to the nitty gritty. I think it is time that we get into the next segment that we affectionately call...
What's shaking, bacon?
I love it still.
The What's Shakin' Bacon intro still finds favor with Megan and Vito, so that's a good thing. One of the things that I thought was really interesting that got posted in the Geeking Squad group was that they recently reported what the two movies were that were fighting for the top spot at movie theaters across the U.S. right now. I mean, we hear about this all the time, you know, when movies come out and it's like, you know, the new Star Wars movie is, you know, competing with the new whatever bullshit Saw movie or something, you know, all that crap you guys like to watch and stuff. Not my thing. Anyway, the two movies that like last week were vying for the top spot were Jurassic Park and Jaws.
How messed up is that?
I was just going to say.
What world are we living in?
I know.
Yeah. Both great fucking movies. And both movies I would totally love to go to the movie theater and see again.
Heck yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, seriously, could you, because I've been kind of keeping an eye open and I haven't seen it listed for anywhere around here in the Chicagoland area. But dude, if we find out a drive-in or something is showing Jurassic Park and or Jaws, we're fucking going, man. Because did you guys, I can't remember, we talked about both of those in the past, but did you guys, I know you didn't see Jaws, but did you guys see Jurassic in the theater?
4 times.
Fucking A.
Fuck yeah, dude.
But you didn't.
I did not know.
Okay.
I missed out.
I saw it once in the theater. It's amazing in the theater.
Yeah, it has to be.
Yeah.
And so is Jaws. I saw Jaws at the drive-in
cool.
as a kid.
I saw a few years ago they had like it was kind of like a pool drive-in where you go into this
Yes,
giant pool
I
and sit
would
on
love
inner
to do
tubes
that.
and watch Jaws. That's pretty fucking cool, man.
That's creepy, man. That would be cool, but
It'd be really creepy if they came up and like bit you on the ass or something.
Yeah, that'd be hilarious.
yeah,
You really nip it at you.
You know damn well, me and him, well, me especially, are gonna mess with you.
You're just gonna screw with me.
Yeah.
You're gonna bring that damn jaw, that
Yeah, the
hand
hand-
thing.
Oh, dude. No, you know what I actually have back at the house? I have something that's just like the creepy hand thing, but it's a little shark.
Nice.
Oh Lord.
It's like this tiny little shark head.
Baby shark doo doo doo.
Yeah. It is. It's like a little baby shark toy. And, you know, I can nip you with it. You know I'd be fucking with you with that.
Doo-doo. Doo-doo. I was like, don't do it. Doo-doo. I was gonna fucking kick you. Doo-doo.
And then
And I kick you after two.
I was saying, then you'll
And a real shark eats Larry. Surprise, bitch.
Yep. Ain't no logical reason why I'm here, but I'm here and I'm biting you. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, I mean, I guess it's not a huge shock or anything because we talked about this a few weeks back about the whole fact of drive-ins becoming a thing again and you know and yeah, so Jaws and Jurassic Park were vying for the top spot. I think, to be fair, I think the third spot was The Invisible Man, which is kind of a new movie.
Oh, I wanted to watch that, actually.
Right.
That looked really good in the trailer.
Yeah, I guess that had been the number one movie like the week before or something like that.
wow.
But it got bumped a brand new movie got bumped by Jurassic and Jaws.
It's crazy, man.
Fucking
Spielberg's the fucking man, dude. He knows how to make a good ass movie.
Seriously, timeless.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, it's
well, and that's kind of like a good point too, because it's like we constantly want new movies to come out. People are complaining about, oh, there's no new movies coming out and all this kind of stuff. And movie theaters put literally billions of dollars or movie studios rather put billions of dollars every year into creating new feature film content. Mm-hmm. But yet, I mean, like this just kind of goes to show that I think people just want that experience, and people are willing to still pay to go see movies in a theater or at a drive-in or whatever that they've seen dozens or hundreds of times.
Especially if it was that impressionable for you in that generation. Like for you, it was Jaws, right? For us, it would have been Jurassic Park.
Right, yeah,
because we were at that age.
Absolutely. Yeah, and speaking of that, of my age and impressionable, another one that they announced, except as of right now, I think it's only overseas, only like in the UK and stuff. They announced a 4K version of Empire Strikes Back being shown at movie theaters. That's fuck you, UK, man. Because
we can't even go over there and watch it.
Yeah,
right.
I can't even.
You won't even listen
lives
in your country.
No, exactly. I want you. Do you guys have any idea how badly I want to go see Empire Strikes Back at the movie theater again, man?
But in 4K, I mean, sometimes that ruins like the magic of those films, man, because they were meant to be shown at that resolution and to hide the effects sometimes.
I'm totally in agreement.
You know?
I'm totally in agreement with you there. But I think then you also got to factor in that it's going to be shown at a drive-in, which is going to, even though the modern drive-ins, like we were telling you in one of the other episodes, are way better than like what you would be accustomed to coming from a drive-in. Mm-hmm. It's way better, but it's still like, you know, it still ain't like watching it on your 65-inch TV at home in 4K, where it's got that uber real kind of look to it that I don't know if I really like that personally. I don't want anything more than 1080. 1080 is like the perfect like format for that to me. I like 1080. I think everything looks really good and crisp and stuff. I don't want to see people's fucking pimples, like, you know,
and all their wrinkles and
eye
crusties.
Yeah, exactly. And their stubble and all that shit. But not just that, but there's also just the way things move and like the movement. It looks unnatural to me.
Because I don't even know how high a resolution I mean, obviously we can see that, but real life, I don't know what our resolution would be to see stuff in real life, you know?
Yeah, exactly. So I'm with you on that, but I mean, whatever. If I have to deal with it in 4K, if I've got an option to go see fucking Empire Strikes Back again at the theater, I'm fucking going, man.
Yeah, I just saw in one of my groups that the Dark Crystal and Labyrinth were double features. Like, fuck yes. Please come here.
Absolutely. Especially since I've never seen either of them.
Yeah.
I've never seen Dark Crystal.
I don't think I've seen Dark Crystal either. I really want to.
I think we, like, remember in school where they would rent a videotape one afternoon because you had nothing else to do?
Right.
Sometimes, I think they rented Dark Crystal one year, and I vaguely remember that movie.
Okay.
But, yeah.
In addition, speaking of Labyrinth being re-released to see, aren't they talking about possibly redoing Labyrinth?
They're talking about redoing it. They've got Jennifer Connelly in talks to come back.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and in that same group, man, everybody is divided. I mean, people are vehemently against it, like screaming at everybody else. And the other one's like, just give it a chance. We don't even know what's going to happen yet.
Right.
So it's real interesting. We'll have to see what they do with this.
Yeah. How do you feel about it?
I'm cautiously optimistic. Yeah, because they talked about like Tilda Swinton.
Yeah, Tilda Swinton playing Bowie's role.
Bowie's role. I was like, that could be interesting. Like if she's a long lost sister or another Goblin King.
What would you do
queen.
if it was Tilda Swinton, but she was like packing a fucking pickle in her pants to be all like Bowie dong?
That'd be kind of weird.
That would be weird.
Is he like an alien or something in that movie?
No.
Oh, he's just a dude.
He's
just
the
a
Goblin King.
I see. I was going to say, like, if he's part of a race, you can just say, well, that race just happens to have a huge organ at that area in their pants. They could probably get away with it.
Yeah, she's
That's
very
Vito
androgynous,
logic.
where she could go either way.
Oh, yeah,
so.
yeah. She's played a lot of androgynous roles. So, I mean, the idea of her being Bowie is fucking brilliant.
Yeah, I could easily see that. But again, people are very divided in there.
Speaking of another one that people are very divided on.
Yeah, I just posted a Death Becomes Her is getting a remake.
Okay.
And it's got a lot of big stars. It's got Kate Hudson.
That's
Goldie Hawn's daughter is going to revise her role. So that can't get much closer to the real thing from there. It's going to have Anne Hathaway in it, Robert Downey Jr. and Lady Gaga. So I was like, those are some big names.
Yeah.
It's a good cast, I think. I was like, I thought it sounded kind of promising. Either you get big names like that, either it's going to dump really hard, or it could be really fucking good. And that's a lot of good talent, I thought. So, but everybody did not agree with me. They're like, don't fucking touch that movie. What's wrong with you? Just make something new. I was like, well.
Yeah.
It's a toss-up. Do you make something new and risk everything, or do you go and remake what people loved and risk ruining it completely, or do you make it something endearing for the next future generations?
Yeah, I get that, but at the same time, like, you still have your original movie that you can watch,
Right.
And I liked Death Becomes Her. I haven't watched it in years, but when it came out, I really liked it. Like, I had it on tape and stuff. I watched it multiple times and everything.
Is that where the cover has that woman with the candelabra, but through her body or something like that?
Kind of, yeah. It's the whole thing is that they make this weird deal with the devil voodoo deal kind of thing where they can't die, essentially. That was like a side effect. They wanted to be beautiful forever kind of thing. But then all these brutal things, they keep doing these brutal things to each other, so their heads twisted around, and it's real slapstick, goofy and stuff.
Yeah.
Bruce Willis was originally in it. Now it's gonna be Robert Downey Jr.
Okay.
And everything. Gaga plays some other weird socialite.
She's a mysterious, wealthy socialite.
Yeah. So I mean, and I love Gaga too. So I mean, like, for me personally, even though I love that movie, I'm actually like pretty game to check this out.
Yeah, me too.
And speaking of like reboots and all that kind of stuff, Vito, there was one that I'm curious to see what you think of it, because they've announced another reboot.
The VHS 94 reboot?
Yep.
Dude, I'm actually really, really excited about that.
Okay.
Because VHS Viral, which was the third installment, sucked balls.
Oh, no.
It's awful movie.
Never saw that. I only saw parts of the first two.
Yeah. So this one, actually, the guy who's involved with it, who's writing it, actually did a couple of the Creep Show, the remakes that came out last year.
Okay.
And there was one called The Man in the Suitcase, which was one of the best ones in the series. It was like fucked up. So these guys are at the airport and they grab a suitcase by mistake, but there's a genie that lives inside the suitcase.
Okay.
But he'll give you endless amounts of gold and riches if you torture him and cause him pain.
So he's like a masochist.
Yeah, the only way he can give you riches is if you cause pain against him. So you have to like electrocute him, you have to hammer him, you got to shoot him, and then every time you do something, he expounds this huge amount of gold and wealth, and it corrupts this guy and his girlfriend and his friend. It's a really twisted ass story, but
that's weird.
It kind of works itself into the VHS saga, I guess.
Okay.
And this new one, each story is going to link together to form an entire story arc, where before it was like you had like 6 separate entities. They were like shorts that had nothing to do with each other.
So kind of like American Horror Story.
I guess so.
How they ended up putting it all together, so it all came together. It made sense at the end, because they were all like all these individual ones. Then they all came together. Like, oh, that's how they all fit together.
I see.
So kind of like that.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Okay, so I'm super excited about that. Yeah, VHS and VHS 2 are my favorite found footage horror films. So if you guys haven't seen those, go right now.
That's one of your found footage.
Yeah.
Oh.
So all these are all found footage shorts, which is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that shit. Cannot get enough of it. And most of them are done really poorly. Not the VHS series, except for the third one, obviously. But most found footage films are just absolutely horrible and they suck. But just the appeal of the idea that, oh, this could be something real that happened and now we're watching it is just cool to me. You know, even though it sucks, I'll still watch it.
Well, I mean, you know how I am. I'm very tentative when it comes to horror and stuff like that. But what I watched of the VHS stuff with you, I was like, oh, this is pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Like, this is actually a pretty cool concept and everything. So that's a lot of times what'll win me over with those things. If the concept and everything is done well and it's interesting and cool, then it's like, okay, I can kind of get past gore and things like that to a degree. You know, that's why I liked, although, well, I don't know if it's that bad, but that's why I liked Cube and stuff like, and Cube 2 and everything, because even though it's got some very violent, gross moments in it, the concept is so like, wow, like wrapping your head around it and everything, it kind of wins me over. Yeah,
we're like a Saw franchise. You're only there to see somebody get viciously murdered, and the plot is literally nothing to do with what you're watching. For the most part.
Garbage.
Yeah. Those movies do tie with each other, but,
I know, but
it's a different kind of vibe and all that, you know.
Yeah, I just can't get into the whole, like, I like to watch people get brutally murdered, you know, innocently, you know, innocent people brutally murdered, you know, in all these different ways. It's so entertaining. I'm like, okay. I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's one thing if there's brutal murder stuff that happens, it could still be hard for me to stomach. But if it's wrapped in a movie that's got some really cool concepts and storytelling and everything, it's like, oh, okay, like I can accept it. Anyway, it's just not my thing, I guess. One other thing that speaking of, it's kind of talking about reboots and sequels and stuff, was that Danny posted over in the group, I think, about Cobra Kai. Now, that's the whole sequel, 20 years, whatever, 30 years, 25 years later sequel thing to The Karate Kid. Have either of you guys watched that?
No.
I didn't either. I've been wanting to. I've had people like recommend it to me. So, of course, I'm Mr. Spoiler. I went in and I just like read the whole...
all the Wikipedias and everything.
Yeah, like I read the whole recap thing to kind of get... It's interesting. It's an interesting concept. And I mean, I don't know if you guys know basically what it's about, but it's like the lives of Daniel and what's his name?
Johnny?
Yeah, Johnny, Billy Zabka's character. Yeah. Later, and like, you know, as adults, and they've got kids now and stuff, but it kind of reverses some roles here a little bit. Like Daniel's kind of a dick, you know, he's kind of, but it makes you sort of reassess like certain things about them and kind of go back and look at their characters a little differently.
Okay.
You know, I mean, it's still ultimately kind of the same, but you just kind of realize, to me, from when I was reading it, it's like, okay, yeah, they were both assholes. Like, I think they were always, you know, everybody looks at, well, Daniel was the hero and Johnny was the asshole. It's like, not exactly. There's a little more complex than that. And then it gets interesting because then they each start training kids and stuff and everything. And it puts some different twists on it. So, like, the new Cobra Kai are not, like, all... you know, little fucking dickheads going, put them in a body bag, you know, like just, but they're not quite like that. But it is an interesting concept.
Right.
But it was a YouTube original series, but it ended up getting bought out by Netflix. So a lot of people are kind of like, oh, interesting. Because Netflix, they can kind of take it even more so than YouTube. I think they can kind of make it into something else. Like they could really make this, or, you know, they could get a little bit harder with it, you know.
Yeah, and a lot of people be like, well, I'm not going to watch a movie on YouTube. That's dumb. But be like, oh, it's on Netflix. I'll definitely watch that.
Right.
There's like that weird like barrier, you know?
Yeah, exactly. So that's kind of interesting. Do you guys think you're ever going to go back and, like, now that it's been moved over like that, do you think you'd actually go and watch it now?
I might. I'm just looking for something. I was like, I don't really know what I want to watch. Let me check it out. Especially since it was recommended. I would check it out.
Yeah. That's kind of where I've been at. I'm like waiting for the right time, you know, and everything. Because I think they're coming up on like season 3 soon. Or they've got season 3 like in the can or something like that. So figure, maybe once it's like to season 3, I'll just go back and binge the fuck out of it, you know, and watch all of it. Lastly, one last Shakin' Bacon thing I want to talk about, and just real quick, I don't know too much about it, but they announced, for all you cartoon fans out there, they announced a Scooby-Doo Halloween special that's going to be coming out that has all sorts of like crossovers and stuff. It's like, I think Elvira's in it.
Yeah, they're gonna have where the Scooby-Doo gang has to team up with Elvira and Bill Nye the Science Guy of all people to defeat Batman's Scarecrow. And he like brings these jack-o'-lanterns and this fucked up pumpkin to life and everything. Nice. So they got to defeat him to save the city.
Yeah.
So I think it could be kind of fun.
It might be fun.
As long as they don't have that little fucking dog on there.
Scrappy Doo?
What do you got against
Scrappy.
Scrappy?
Yeah, the little scrappy guy.
Yeah.
Scrappy dude.
Puppy power.
That guy's fucking annoying, man.
Oh,
Did they
man.
bring him into the second live action film with
I think
Sarah
so.
Michelle
Did
Gellar?
they?
I
Did
think
they?
so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh.
You're listening to the Prescribed Films Podcast Network, home to hundreds of hours of free podcast entertainment. The shows on this network all have a common goal, providing you with the best discussions about movies and other forms of entertainment media. The PFPN hopes to fill your earholes with audio joy. Visit our website with links to all the other amazing shows at www.thepfpn.com. Thanks for listening.
All right. I think right now is a good time to delve into a little bit of squad talk. As always, squad talk is kind of like the main topic that we gleaned from the Geeking Squad forum that we said, all right, this is the one we really want to focus on. And with obvious reasons. We were just talking about the whole Batman thing with the Scooby-Doo just before this segment, but also our recent episodes that we did for Geeking Poetic podcast were all focused around Batman, where we talked about our favorite Batman movies, and we did some funny little Batman spoof things with Vito running around in a Batman outfit.
That was awesome.
It was really awesome, and we're not just tooting our own horn here. If you guys have not seen any of that stuff, make sure you check out our videos on YouTube, where you could see us do all that goofy stuff. And as far as the top 5 Batman movies thing, if you're not a YouTube person and you're listening on Podbean or on Spotify, iTunes, any of those kind of things, you can listen to us talk about it there. But as such, because we were doing that, we thought it would be cool to do a little poll where we asked you guys not what your favorite Batman was or what your favorite Bat movie was, but what is your favorite Batmobile? Because let's face it, like, as great as Batman is, without all those wonderful toys, he's
It's the car, right? The chicks dig the car.
Exactly. Yes, Robin. The chicks dig the fucking car. Go get on your measly little motorcycle there, little Mr. Short Pants, and hightail it on out of here, because chicks are all about the Batmobile. So yeah, we took results from all of you guys that listened and heard our call, and you guys let us know what your favorite Batmobiles were. So, looking at it, we actually have a tie.
Do we?
Yes,
Wow.
there is a tie for the number 1 spot. And the number 1 Batmobile is a tie between the Adam West Batmobile from the 1960s series, which, I mean, come on,
It's iconic. Yeah.
that's super iconic, and the 1989 Michael Keaton Batmobile.
Which, let's be honest,
yes.
is the most iconic.
It is the Batmobile.
I don't know, man. You look at these results, it was neck and neck.
I think those results are a representation of our demographic.
I suppose that's
Yeah.
true.
Those are their first Batmans, just like everybody has their first Doctor.
Yeah.
These are their first Batmobiles.
You mean Doctor Who, right?
Doctor Who?
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought you guys were talking about Dr. Stockfish today. Never mind.
Or Dr. Shivago, or
My first doctor, his name was Dr. Stockfish. As a
Or
kid.
you could remember your actual first Doctor. Okay.
I can too.
can't.
I do think that there is something to that. I mean, even if you can acknowledge, kind of like, I know, like Willie, my roommate Willie mentioned in his answer to the poll, where he said, those later ones he thinks are super cool, but he's got to give it up to the original 66 Batmobile,
right.
because that's his childhood Batman. Coming in just behind them a little bit was the Christian Bale Batmobile.
The old tumbler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, that it shows
Too damn destructive.
It is.
it's too chubby. It's like, it's a really, here's the thing. That thing is cool as fuck. It's not
a Batmobile.
A Batmobile. To
If
me.
that was in a Fast and Furious movie, that would be the fucking badass shit.
Yes,
I think.
yes.
But as a Batmobile, I don't know, man.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. And then the Affleck one actually got a vote too,
Interesting.
which I thought was cool. You know, same thing.
I haven't seen that Batman. Is that Batman vs Superman?
Yeah, that would be like from that or Justice League and all that stuff.
I haven't seen those. So.
Wow.
But it's basically just like a flatter version of the Tumblr,
Kind
sort
of,
right?
yeah. There's some differences to it, but it's the same general idea.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you look at the demographic of the people who picked these, you can kind of tell. I think more of the younger demographic tended to pick the Bale one and everything, and I get it because they're the ones.
That's their Batman.
Right, and they're the ones that think The Dark Knight is like the best Batman movie ever, and they're just fucking wrong.
Here we go again.
You're wrong. Anyway, but what's really wrong, and I don't think is cool, is that the George Clooney or Val Kilmer versions didn't get any votes.
What's up with that, man?
Yeah, they're pretty cool looking.
Yeah.
I thought they were
Especially
really cool.
the Kilmer one with the rib cage thing.
Yeah.
That was really neat, dude.
Yeah. Well, you know.
The only thing that was dumb was the wheels had the bat signal on them, so you can always tell where the bat cave was because you just followed the fucking tire treads.
Yeah.
So that didn't make much sense. But
Good point. While I do think that people, obviously, at least in our group, seem to kind of equally love that classic old goofy Batman, Adam West Batman, I'm sorry, I'm standing by that the 1989 Batman in every way is definitive fucking Batman.
yeah, absolutely.
Agreed.
Yeah.
And on the note of that, something very exciting, potentially very exciting, was announced that Michael Keaton is potentially here in talks to reprise his role as Batman.
Hey now, my Batman's back. Been waiting all week to use that one, buddy.
You've been practicing, haven't you?
Vito's like, my Batman's back and you're gonna get fucked up. Hey now, my Batman's back. Yeah. Now, dude, that would be really exciting. Now,
Oh my
here's
God.
the thing.
Yeah.
There's some details here we got to get into. So,
Okay.
what it is he would not necessarily be coming back to play Batman in a standalone Batman movie kind of thing. It wouldn't be like a sequel to Batman Returns. He would be appearing in the new movie for The Flash, because The Flash has not had a movie out yet. He basically premiered, or whatever you want to call it, in Justice League, performed by Ezra Miller, who I thought you haven't seen it yet, right? Great job.
I just saw the scene where he's running with Superman and Superman like looks or whatever.
Yeah.
So that was cool.
Yeah, I thought Ezra Miller did a great job as Flash, and he's going to reprise that role. And they're supposed to be basing it off the Flashpoint storyline and everything, which I can't explain all that. I know you guys don't read that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
but for people out there, if you know DC and you know that, that's pretty cool. That's a cool storyline. So they're supposed to be doing that. And reportedly, the way they're looking at this is, at the very least, Keaton will appear in this movie, if not maybe in some of the other DC movies. And he's going to tie it together kind of in the same role like Samuel Jackson as Nick Fury in the Marvel movies.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Where it's going to be like a minor role, but he's going to kind of, you know what I mean? He might be in Wonder Woman.
Yeah,
he might be
yeah.
in Flash. He might be in Cyborg. He might be. It's kind of fucking cool.
That
man.
is really fucking
Yeah.
cool. I'm really excited.
You know, if he's like an older, more grizzled Batman and everything, and
Way to DC to get their shit together.
well, you know,
Hopefully.
let's not count our bat chickens before they hatch, because DC have come out with a lot of other things in the past where we're like, oh, that sounds like that's going to be amazing, and then we see it and it's like, oh god. I am definitely looking forward to this. This could potentially be the thing that brings people back around to going, all right, like, you know, they've just been so goofy with their choices for Batmans and stuff. Like, I'm not one of those people that dislikes Ben Affleck. I like Ben Affleck. Not in everything, but a lot of stuff, you know. DC already has so much trouble, and so they go and they cast Ben Affleck, who is this polarizing actor that people just fucking hate for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
People have just been so against him for so long. So you get him. Then they announce, okay, we're not going to have him anymore, and they get what's his face from
Robert
Pattinson,
which is like the same thing where everybody hates him because he was in those Twilight movies or whatever,
and they don't like him personally and all that stuff and things about him.
He looks gross. He looks like he smells.
And ladies and gentlemen, this is why Megan is the glue of the Geeking Squad podcast, because thank you for that. Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily say I think that he looks like he smells, but yeah, another one that
I would.
polarizing. But again, you know what I'm saying? It's just like these choices they make where I'm like, oh, DC, why would you do that? I don't even dislike Robert Pattinson. He was in Harry Potter, and he was great in that, even though it was a smaller role and stuff. But I don't dislike the man, but I don't know. That's not what I want to see, you know. But bringing back an older, grizzled Michael Keaton is this Nick Fury type role.
All in.
Yeah, for
right.
sure.
Brilliant. I love it. I think that's a great idea. So I don't know.
And if they tie that into like a Batman Beyond spin-off movie or something, dude, that would be incredible.
Yeah. We're all excited about this, and man, I hope this comes to fruition.
Yep. And soon. Well,
Yeah.
I guess not too soon. Do it right.
Right. Fucking do it right.
Don't mess this up.
Megan's gonna backhand you like.
Yeah. You'll end up behind the couch next.
Yeah. You'll get the bat boot right behind the couch.
What do you suggest?
All right, and it is now about that time to get into our recommendations. So, Vito, what do you suggest?
So I am suggesting a Amazon Prime exclusive show called Upload,
Okay.
which I've been wanting to watch for a while. And this morning I was like, you know what? I'm going to have a cup of coffee and I'm just going to watch this before I get my day in order. Well, I turned on the first episode, and within 5 minutes, I knew exactly what the rest of my afternoon was going to consist of, and that was sitting on my couch and watching the next 9 episodes of this show. And the premise is there's like a digital afterlife. So right before you die, you can have the choice of either just dying a natural death, or you can upload your consciousness into this cloud server.
That's awesome.
That has an afterlife. Now there's a super uber like rich afterlife called Lakeview, and this guy is in a car accident and he's got this really crazy girlfriend who's this rich bitch, and she like basically like manipulates him into signing it so he can go to this afterlife place so she can be with him forever.
Ugh.
And you kind of find out that there's more reasoning behind it. And he didn't actually die by accident. So there's this, but it's a comedy show made by the producers from like The Office and Parks and Rec.
Oh.
It's not like that show at all. But the humor is so like genius, hilarious, and like almost like a vision of what the future is probably going to look like.
Wow.
Very soon.
Okay.
It's
Interesting.
it's awesome. I can't recommend it enough, man.
Now, are these hour shows or are they like half-hour shows?
So the first episode was like 45 minutes, and the rest of them are like 30 minutes.
Oh,
and there's only
okay.
10 episodes, so I finished it in like 4 hours or something
Wow.
like that.
All right.
Yeah.
And it's on Amazon Prime?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I have
I've
to
got
check
Prime.
this out.
Yeah, it's great.
That sounds interesting. Yeah, because I love that kind of stuff. Like I think I mentioned to you guys before. That's sort of like a premise of other movies. I don't want to say because it's kind of like a secret in a way. I don't want to spoil the movie for people, especially because I want you guys to watch it. But it's kind of potentially part of a premise of other movies that I love. I love that whole concept of like, you know, we're heading towards that. I think,
Yeah.
you know, being able to upload consciousness into things. I don't know. Likely not in our lifetime, but
It's coming.
it's a coming. Yeah. All right, cool. So Upload is your recommendation. Megan, why don't you give us your suggestion?
I am also going futuristic, and I'm going with Helldivers.
Okay.
It's an Audible book. I read the first one from 2016. There's a total of 7 of these things.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I didn't get to all of them, but I read that first one. And it was not my usual pick on what I would choose, I kind of picked, I was like, I think Vito might like this. I'm going to check it out. And it was really interesting. It's a kind of futuristic. Maybe we're going to go here before we get the upload thing. It's what happens to us after we destroy our world in World War III.
Right.
We poison our world. And so, the human race, we live on airships now, and we just travel. We're trying to find a safe place to land to restart human civilization on Earth, but Earth is full of radiation. There's nowhere to safe.
Okay.
And they call this one place Hades. It's like, but this is where a lot of what they need, the airships were made, and that they need all these parts. And it's been centuries now. They've been trying to keep these ancient airships up in the air, so they keep obviously breaking.
Right.
And because of the radiation and everything, they have bad electrical storms. But the hell divers, they dive from the ships, just free dive, basically.
Wow.
Down to Earth. And they have to wear special radiation suits and everything. And they have to
try to get these parts
and everything. And then they hightail it back up to the ships to try to fix it. But they're hell divers because they only live maybe like 4 dives. Ooh. So, but our main guy in this, he's done like dozens and dozens. I can't remember. It was a lot.
Super ace.
Yeah. So basically, you do this until you die, and you die very early in life. And people on the ships basically don't appreciate you, even though you're giving your life for them to keep them, keep the human race going. And in this one, they come across these creatures that have been changed by the radiation.
Nice.
And they sense by sonar, and because they don't have eyes, and the radiation's gotten rid of it. And so, they're trying to battle them and outwit them to get to these parts to save the ships, because one of the ships goes down. So it's this last ship. There's down to 2 ships, and one goes down. And so it's this last ship, and that's the last humans on Earth.
Oh,
and they're like, we have to do this. We have to save. I mean, it's the last of us. And even the humans on the ship, the ones in the lower decks, they're all getting radiation poison. They're having cancers, and they're misformed and everything like that. And so there's the different classes on the ships that are clashing, and there's a fight that starts out on the ship, and the people held hostage, so they got that, and it was a lot. It was like, oh my gosh, it was really on the edge of my seat. It was really good.
Nice.
So I'm kind of anxious to start the next ones.
Yeah,
I was kind of excited that there's 6 more books.
That's crazy. Yeah, I had seen Hell Divers on my Audible recommendation list, so I put it in my wish list a couple years ago, but I never got around to it. So.
Yeah, it was free this last month, so I was like, okay, I'm going to check it out. Why not? It was really good. I'm glad I did.
Cool.
So that's my recommendation.
Okay, and that's on audible.com.
Audible. Mm-hmm.
Perfect. Helldivers for you, found on Audible. For me, I'm going to recommend something a little different. I am going to recommend, people, if you've listened to me before, I'm all about the toys. I'm a very toy-centric person and toyetic person, because I have a show on our channel called Geeking Toyetic where I talk about toys. And one of the things I love about toys and collecting toys is I love websites and all that stuff. It's great. But when I first got into collecting toys, we didn't have websites and all that stuff, because this was in the late 80s, early 90s. We had magazines, specialty magazines and stuff. Most of those have gone away, because magazine print isn't what it once was, and it's expensive to do this stuff. But a friend of mine named Brian Heiler, who some of you may know if you're a fan of the website Plaid Stallions. I don't know if you've ever seen Plaid. Have you ever seen Plaid Stallions?
I don't think so.
Plaid Stallions is a cool site that's very, it focuses on kitschy retro stuff. He'll put up things like old catalog pages and
old fashioned.
It focuses on, and it kind of, it shows and it pokes fun at old 60s and 70s fashions and then he'll do features on things, he'll feature old Remco monsters from the 1980s or feature old dime store rack toys and stuff. In fact, Brian Heiler actually put out a book a few years back called Rack Toys that just talked about old dime store type toys and things you would find it's so many, especially they were around they're around now actually, but especially in the 70s, they were so prevalent and everything. You could go into a Jewel Osco or go into a
Woolworth.
Yeah, exactly. Dude, Woolworth was the shit. Now you're talking my language, son. And Kresge and Kmart and that's all my shit. Anyway, I'm raging over here. But anyway, so Brian he's like a wizard about all that kind of stuff. He knows so much stuff in minutia. He even kind of self-deprecating about it and is like, I know way too much about this crap. And he writes for other sites. He's written for magazines. He's also been a consultant on like various TV shows and documentaries and stuff about various things. Like Brian really knows his stuff. He also does a podcast, which was inspirational to me, called Plaid Stallions, that he does with the guy named Jason Lindsay, that works in the industry and stuff and has had his own podcasts and stuff. He actually owns Biff Bang Pow Toys and stuff. And Jason and Brian are great guys. But the cool thing is that Brian is like me in that he loves print. He loves print magazines. He loves that whole format. So he recently launched an Indiegogo campaign to make Toy Ventures, which is one of his little YouTube segments he puts out now and then, into an actual print magazine. And so if you go to Indiegogo.com and you look up in projects and stuff, if you look up Plaid Stallions Toy Ventures magazine, you can find more information on this. And like in the first issue that's going to come out, he's going to focus all on monster toys from the 1970s. So like Creature from the Black Lagoon, all these like really cool ones that were put out by the Azraq Hamway International Company. They were kind of like a competitor of Mego and stuff. They kind of ripped Mego off a lot, actually. But
did Mego rip other people off those?
Oh, Mego ripped off all sorts of people. It was the nature of the business, and I love them all. But anyway, each issue is going to feature like collector guides, rare photographs, interviews with old people from those companies and other collectors. He's even going to feature like other big collectors' collections and do spotlights on them. And I mean, if you donate $10, you will get the magazine and you'll get buttons and all sorts of other stuff. And it's been actually doing great so far.
Oh, good.
So it is going to come out for sure. He's met his goal, but I think this is going to be a really cool thing. I think for any of you out there that are into collecting toys, and if you want to support this kind of stuff and keep the hobby going, like it's $10, And if you don't care about having the actual magazine, he's also putting it out as a digital copy that you can get for $5. And you'll still get other stuff with it too and everything. So it's a great deal. And Brian's like a super awesome guy. In the first issue, he's even going to talk about Kiss rarities. So,
Yeah, Larry already.
Oh, dude, I got in on this right away. As soon as I saw Brian post about this, I was like, yep. You can't take my money quick enough and everything. So it should be coming out soon. So if you people are interested in getting on this, you should definitely go to Indiegogo.com and check it out. And again, it's called Toy Ventures. Before we go, I want to also mention, I think it's, one thing that we've wanted to do for a while now, and we've just never really got an opportunity, but we'd like to sign off every episode from now on, giving a shout out to other podcasts that we really like and love and respect and listen to. And I think for the first one, we have to give the shout out to our buddy Jason and Attack of the Killer podcast.
Yep. You guys are great, man.
Yeah, they talk about Jason and his pals get together and talk about basically all kinds of horror, scary movie schlock.
They do a lot of watch parties.
Yeah,
on
watch
Facebook.
parties and stuff. And Jason was the one that basically invited us to be part of the PFPN.com network, the Prescribed Films network. And man, thank you, Jason, so much for having us in there. We're really happy to be part of it. We're still looking forward to doing some collabs. We got a collab, sure. Man. Because we talk a little bit about some scary horror shit here and there. So we've got some things brewing. But Yeah, if you are a fan of hearing people talk about it, and I mean, they talk about some more semi like kind of mainstreamy stuff, you know, like Child's Play and all that stuff. But then they delve pretty deep into some other stuff,
really
too.
obscure like 70s horror that I've never even heard of before.
And see, and a lot of that stuff I dig,
Yeah.
man. Like I dig some 70s horror stuff, you know, 60s, 70s, even some 80s. So yeah, it's a great show. I'm sure a bunch of you out there are into that kind of stuff. So please go check out Attack of the Killer podcast. They are, like I said, part of the pfpn.com. That's where you can go check it out and find them and our show and a bunch of
And
other
a whole
shows.
lot more.
Yeah, we'll be talking about some of the other ones coming up soon. So, you know, when you sign off from this show, go check out Attack of the Killer podcast. Do them a solid. And with that, I mean, as
think
always,
that's a wrap.
Yeah, it's a wrap. As always, please go check us out. If you're not already checking us out on YouTube, check out our YouTube channel.
Yeah, make sure you subscribe.
Hit that like button and the notification bell.
Yep. And share. Please share with your friends. You know, we really are struggling to get more people on board to listen to us. And we're so grateful to have those of you who are listening. But like, if you got pals or family members or coworkers or anybody you think would be interested in the stuff we talk about on here, let them know about it. And we
There's
also
our Patreon supporters who keep this show rolling. You guys are the best.
Thank you guys.
Thank you so much, patrons, for your support. And yeah, you can find us on patreon.com. And you can find us on all the various fine platforms to listen to podcasts. So we will be back in 2 weeks or less, I think. Hopefully. We should be back soon in a couple of Wednesdays.
Yep.
With
Keep them
episode
coming.
Yeah, with episode 5. So take it easy, everybody.
Bye.
See ya.